Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to the last lap. In today's video, we're going to be giving you guys a bit of a paint scheme preview for this weekend at Darlington. It's the first time we've done this, and we figured we'd do it since it's Throwback weekend. There's a lot of cool paint schemes out there. We're going to showcase some of our favorites for you guys, but before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. That would mean a lot to us. It would help our channel grow as well. You can also check us out on our Instagram page at The Last Lap News. That'll be linked in the description down below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into it. As always, I have my friend and co-host Matthew joining me on the show. And how's it feel to be switching it up a little bit? We're not really covering any news this week. We're doing something a little bit more fun since it's Throwback weekend. So how's it feel to be doing something different? And are you ready to get into these paint schemes?
Yeah, this is the absolute one of the best weekends in NASCAR. Throwback weekend at the Southern 500, and it's going to be an amazing weekend there with these next-gen cars racing there for the first time, and I cannot wait to see how this weekend goes. I'll probably will miss a lot of the racing this weekend because it is my graduation this weekend for college, so I don't know how much racing I'm going to be able to watch this weekend, but I'll try my best to get some racing in.
Yeah, this is also our final video, I'm assuming, as college students, I guess. We'll both be graduated for Darlington weekend, so that'll be fun. We're excited to get that done and have our diplomas and stuff. So, how we're going to do this, we're going to start out with the Xfinity and the Truck Series. We're each going to give you one of our favorites from there. We're not going to go over all of them. And then huge shout out to NASCAR and NBC, their website, for having a list of all of the NASCAR Cup Series throwback schemes. I'm going to go through each of those, and we're going to give you guys a few of our favorites out of that. So we're going to start out with I'll start off with the Truck and Xfinity Series. In the Truck Series, my favorite throwback is the number 45 truck for Nice Motorsports, driven by Lawless Allen, I guess is the name written down here. And it is actually a throwback to Jeff Gordon's 2007 Department of Defense car. I actually have the diecast of it right here. It is a very nice paint scheme, as you guys can see right there. He will be driving this truck. So, well, not this, a truck for this car. I have one of my favorite paint schemes. Super excited that they'll be doing that. And as for the Xfinity Series, my favorite Xfinity Series throwback is Josh Berry, and it's actually a throwback of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s 2002 Looney Tunes Busch Series back then Xfinity car, or Busch Series paint scheme for back then that he ran at Richmond with Looney Tunes on the car. So very cool that they brought that back. I love the creativity and them going out of the box that much to bring that paint scheme back. So those are my favorite Truck and Xfinity paint schemes. Matthew, what are your favorite Truck and Xfinity cars for Throwback weekend?
So for the Truck Series, I actually like Hailie Deegan's throwback. I love the colors on it. I think that looks really nice. And then for the Xfinity Series, of course I gotta love Ty Gibbs' Interstate Batteries throwback to Bobby Labonte back in the day. That car looks sweet, and knowing Ty Gibbs, he's probably gonna try to find a way to get that car in the victory lane. So we'll see how that goes.
So I'm actually gonna do a special, a honorable mention, because I like this truck paint scheme as well. But Matt DiBenedetto is running Sterling Marlin's Silver Bullet paint scheme, and I always thought that was a classic car as well. So just a quick honorable mention from me for the Truck Series. Make sure you guys let us know down below what your favorite paint schemes are as well. But we're going to hop into the Cup paint schemes now. I'm going to go through the entire list once again. Huge shout out to NBC for having this list online so I can go through it and show you guys all these wonderful paint schemes. So starting it out, we have Alex Bowman. He will be driving the number 48 car, a throwback to Mark Martin's 1992 Valvoline paint scheme. You always love to see those Valvoline colors, especially in Throwback weekend. So that is Alex Bowman's throwback paint scheme, a wonderful one to start off with, a classic. Next up is Kurt Busch. He will be driving the McDonald's Toyota, throwing it back to Bill Elliott's 1996 McDonald's paint scheme. It's great to see McDonald's back in the sport. It's very cool to see them do a throwback for this car. Moving on, we have the Petty GMS cars, throwing it back to Lee and Richard Petty, since they have the 42 and 43 now, Ty Dillon, obviously, in the number 42 car, it is predominantly white with some orange on it. And Eric Jones, of course, driving that famous Petty blue number 43 Chevrolet with the orange numbers. So very cool to see both Pettys being honored there, Lee and Richard Petty. It's got like the horsepower on it on the sides, just like they did back in the day. So always love seeing those Richard Petty throwback cars. Next on the list is Cole Custer. He will be honoring the late Jason Leffler, who actually is the first driver who earned Haas CNC Racing's first win back in the day. So very cool honoring paint scheme for that. It is a 2003 to 2004 paint scheme for Jason Leffler that Cole Custer will be honoring, which is very cool. I'm glad that they're honoring him. Next on the list is one of my favorites. It is William Byron's number 24 Hendrick Motorsports Chevrolet, the Exalta car, throwing it back to Jeff Gordon's 2007 DuPont Flames paint scheme. I'm so excited that they're bringing this car back. I am a little bit worried that they're not going to get the blue right on it, because from the pictures it looks like it's a little bit of a lighter blue compared to the dark blue that Jeff raced back in 2007. If they can nail that just right, this might be my favorite throwback car. I'm just a little bit worried about that blue. It looks a little bit lighter in the picture. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they get it right and it's a bit darker on the racetrack. But nonetheless, still an awesome paint scheme. Very excited to see that car on the track. Moving on, we have Bubba Wallace, who is driving the number 23 Moneyline Toyota, and this is an interesting throwback to say the least. He's honoring himself, his 2008 late model paint scheme, which actually doesn't look anything like the actual throwback car. It's just a Moneyline paint scheme with, they're trying to copy the design of his car, the late model car.
That's not for throwback.
Yeah.
That's not throwback.
Like
Stop.
You'll see another example of this later on, but they're trying to make it a throwback, but they're not, because the colors aren't the same. They're just trying to do the design, and it just looks like a normal Moneyline paint scheme to me. So that's Bubba's throwback, unfortunately. Arguably one of the worst ones, tied with another one later on. Moving on, Joey Logano. He has a pretty cool throwback. It's to his first quarter midget race car. Him and Pennzoil surprised him with that. Is a like bronze-ish color with some red on it. That's a very cool throwback as well. Next up, this is another one. I feel like this one's underrated, in my opinion, right here. Harrison Burton driving the number 21 Dex Imaging Ford, throwing it back to his dad, Jeff Burton. He's throwing it back to the old X-Eyed paint scheme from back in the day, from 2000. I think they did a really good job with this one as well. Like, they executed it near perfect. I love this throwback paint scheme. Very well done from the Wood Brothers to pull that paint scheme off. Next up is the first Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota of the day, and that is Christopher Bell. All the Toyotas are doing something cool. They're celebrating their 1500th race, so they're kind of throwing it back to themselves for different paint schemes they've driven throughout their career. First up is Christopher Bell. He's driving the number 20 Sirius XM Toyota, throwing it back to his 2017 championship-winning truck. And my quick opinion on this paint scheme, I feel like it just looks a lot better on the truck. It looks okay on the Cup car, but I don't know. They did a good job copying it, but it just looks way better on the truck. It's kind of like Kyle Busch's M&M's car. You see it on the Xfinity car, and you're like, whoa, that looks so good compared to, well, I don't want to say the Cup car, because it looks good on the Cup car too, but some cars it just looks better on than others, but I just feel like it looks better on the truck instead of the Cup car. But anyways, moving on to the next one, who actually is Kyle Busch. I didn't even know that. So Kyle Busch will be driving, of course, an M&M's inspired throwback paint scheme, throwing it back to Ernie Irvin's 1998 paint scheme, which I believe is the first M&M's car ever to be raced. So very cool to see that. I know, Matt, there was a vote on Twitter and social media of different M&M's cars that he was going to run. This one ended up taking the cake and winning. So very cool nonetheless. In M&M's final season, it is cool that they're running the first M&M's car ever driven. So I feel like, it's only right that they do that. They throw it back to the original OG quote-unquote paint scheme. So that is Kyle Busch's throwback car. Next up is Chris Buescher. He will be driving the number 17 Socios Ford, but it's a the sponsor doesn't matter. It looks like Matt Kenseth's DeWalt Ford number 17 from back in the day in 2004. Another very well executed paint scheme right there. Matt Kenseth also not inducted, but he will be in the Hall of Fame for 2023. That's just one little piece of news for you guys right there. Next up, another very cool one. Chase Briscoe is driving the Mahindra Tractors Ford, but it is a throwback to Tony Stewart, which it's his 2001 Indy 500 car, when he became the first driver to complete both races on the same day, the Indy 500 and Coke 600. So that is a very cool idea for them to do, to throw that back to his Indy 500 paint scheme. So very, very cool paint scheme right there. Next up is another Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota in Denny Hamlin. He will be actually throwing it back to his 2016 Daytona 500 winning paint scheme, which is a FedEx car, obviously, just a little bit different. Well, it's the same paint scheme he won with in 2016, just with the number slid forward. So the picture they have on Twitter is actually really cool. It looks very solid. Very good execution there. I don't know why, it just looks good. Like, compared to his FedEx paint scheme now, I kind of like this one better. So maybe they should bring this paint scheme back for good. But anyways, moving on to the next one, it is my driver Chase Elliott. He'll be throwing it back to Jimmy Means. Chase Elliott will be driving the number 9 Napa Chevrolet. He'll be honoring Jimmy Means' 1993 paint scheme. And I think it looks good. Is it my favorite throwback paint scheme? No, it's not going to be my favorite later in this video, but it looks good. They executed it pretty well. I just feel like it looks a little bit weird with he always does the number kind of in a certain way that you guys can see in the picture that I don't really like, but oh well. Very cool for him to be driving that car, honoring Jimmy Means. Next up is a very cool, very interesting one to say the least. Corey LaJoie will be driving the number 7 car, or actually the 777 car, honoring Marty Robbins' 1964 paint scheme, a very bright pink and yellow car. Might as well call this the lemonade car on the racetrack. Very bright machine right there. Very cool for him to be honoring that, and I'm surprised NASCAR is letting him run a 7 and a 77 on the car, which is cool. I like it. I respect it. So that is a very cool one right there. Up next is Brad Keselowski. He'll be driving the number 6 machine, honoring Mark Martin's iconic 2004 Viagra paint scheme. Can't go wrong with that white, blue, and black color blocking. One of the best paint schemes back in the day. So very awesome for them to be honoring him. Next up is Kyle Larson. He will be honoring Tim Richmond's number 0 paint scheme. Very, it's simple, but I like it. They did a good job executing it. Like, they got the hood right, they got the number font absolutely perfect, and they got the little star with the trail behind it on the side. They got that perfect as well. Just a tiny bit too plain for me, but execution-wise, I'd say it's a 10 out of 10. Like, they perfectly executed, copied that paint scheme detail to detail. Very well done there. Next up is Kevin Harvick. He will be honoring himself with a 2011 and 2012 Chasing a Cure paint scheme. He ran back then. It was a black and pink Ream car, so they will be recreating that. Very cool paint scheme. I always loved that one back then. Very awesome for them to be bringing that color blocking back, with Ream coming back this year as well to sponsor Kevin Harvick. Next up is the other unfortunate throwback paint scheme in Austin Cindric, who is attempting to pay tribute to Rusty Wallace's 2005 Kodak paint scheme, and very similar to the Bubba Wallace car. He's just
throwback.
Austin Cindric is running. He's running the Menards car, but they're trying to run the design of Rusty Wallace's car, and they got that right, but you didn't get the colors right. It just looks like a normal Menards car. Nobody's gonna, most NASCAR fans, most NASCAR fans might know, but the average person is gonna be like, oh, that's supposed to replicate an old car, But they tried, but you gotta get the colors right. You have to match the colors, or at least attempt to match the colors. And in my opinion, I'm gonna say my opinion actually. So the last one on the list is Trackhouse Racing, and this is very, very well done. So Ross Chastain will be driving the number 1 Coca-Cola Chevrolet honoring Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car that he ran in Motegi, Japan, and Daniel Suarez will be driving the other Coca-Cola car that Dale Earnhardt Sr. drove in that exhibition race in Japan in 1998. So the black and the red Coca-Cola cars, very well done and executed. I don't see anything wrong with these cars. Very well done. But that's all the Cup schemes as of now. There might be more that come out later. I know I didn't see Ryan Blaney on this list. I don't think he has a throwback paint scheme. Maybe he does. Tyler Reddick, I don't know if he has one for Xfinity, but I don't know if he has one for Cup. So if any more come out, we're sorry.
Tyler Reddick does not have one for Cup. Neither does Austin Dillon.
Yeah, so if any more come out after this video is done, we're sorry. But if there are any we missed, let us know down below which ones we missed if you like them. So that is it for the Cup paint schemes that we have for now. So Matthew, you can maybe go over a few that you like, maybe a few that you don't like, and end up hopefully making a decision on which one is your favorite.
Well, my favorite has to be both Trackhouse cars. I mean, there's no question about it. Those Coca-Cola cars, woo, they look nice right there. They even got like the RCR font on there. I mean, I know Ross Chastain, he has the DEI font on that, which is cool. And yeah, those cars. I mean, Trackhouse in general always nails the paint schemes, and once again, they've done it again. Now I hope one of those cars wins this race this weekend, so we get a race version of that one. But that looks nice right there. But I think if I have to choose my favorite besides those two, because those are all my favorite right there. I mean, there's no question about that. But another one that I like has to be William Byron's Exalta car, because when I first started watching NASCAR, of course, one of the first cars I saw was Jeff Gordon's Flame. The iconic flames on the Jeff Gordon cars back then. So it was cool. It's cool to see that paint scheme finally come back. And yeah, I already said my 2 cents about Austin Cindric and Bubba Wallace's quote-unquote throwback, which is not a throwback at all. And yeah, Hamlin and Bell's throwbacks are so odd because I feel like it just they just raced those not too long ago. So those are kind of odd, but kind of nice too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they release one from Martin Truex Jr. in the next day or two, because all the Joe Gibbs cars are doing something special in a certain way since it's their 1500th race. So I wouldn't be surprised if Truex did one in the next day or two. So if that happens to come out, I'll throw a picture of it on the screen. But yeah, as for my favorite paint scheme, I have to agree with you. I'm gonna say the one car in specific, I like Ross Chastain's paint scheme a little bit better than the Daniel Suarez's 99. But I mean, you're right. Like the Trackhouse, they need to like promote their designer or something like everybody else needs to take notes, because they have not missed on any
And the best part about it is that they've been almost like the best team this year. Almost.
Yeah, like they have not missed on barely any paint schemes. Like they've nailed a lot of their paint schemes. So huge props to the design team at Trackhouse Racing. Everybody else needs to take notes. I mean, they got the sponsor right, they got the number font right, they got the paint scheme right. The only thing they don't have right is the number, and they can't change that. So, other than that, yeah, I'm going to pick the one car over the 99 just to pick one favorite, but the 99 car is right behind it. And like you said, the 24 car looks great as well. I'm just hoping and praying that they get that blue right, because the pictures, I just hope Hendrick doesn't let me down with that one, because obviously Jeff Gordon was my favorite driver, and that's an iconic paint scheme for him. So yeah, hopefully they get that number 24 paint scheme right, and I'm excited for this week at Darlington. Oh yeah, we also need to do our picks and predictions for this weekend too. I completely forgot about that. So Let me see. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to say watch out for Kyle Larson. He is slowly gaining momentum. He kind of dropped a little bit over the past few weeks. He had a good run at Talladega. He had a good run at Dover. So I'm going to say watch out for Kyle Larson. He's getting that mojo back. I'm going to say watch out for that 9 car as well, Chase Elliott. He has always ran well at Darlington. Things just have not gone his way. Cough, Joe Gibbs Racing. Cough, cough, cough. Anyways, I'm going to say watch out for Chase Elliott.
In a nutshell right there. Full display.
I'm going to say watch out
about
for
something.
I'm going to say watch out for Chase Elliott as well. He got that first win. Expect a few more to come this season on ovals too. Just sending a reminder out there. But anyways, who else to watch? I'm going to say watch out for Martin Truex Jr. He has been pretty good at Darlington as well. He was kind of up there at Dover. He had a good car, so I'm going to say watch out for him. And I'll leave it at that for now. So, Matthew, who are some of your drivers to watch this weekend at Darlington?
Well, I was going to get you that William Byron throwback for Christmas this year, but I take that back now since you went full Elliott bandwagon mode for a second. But anyways, some drivers I'm going to look out after. I'm going to look after Martin Truex Jr. He's always been strong at Darlington, and he was dominant last year, so I think he's going to be able to run up well. I'm going to keep my eye on William Byron, because he's also, especially last year, he looked really good at Darlington, so I'm going to keep my eye on him. Of course, I got to keep my eye on Ross Chastain, because no matter what track we go to, he's always good at. And with that special throwback scheme, I think that's going to make that thing go faster right there. And then I think for one more driver to look at, I think it would be Denny Hamlin. He ran really well at Dover if it wasn't for all those issues that he had with the wheel and the wreck there, but I think he'll run well at Darlington, so I'm gonna keep my eye on him.
Those are some very good drivers to watch out for. But that's pretty much gonna wrap it up for this video. Matthew, do you have any other closing thoughts before we go ahead and wrap the episode up? We did have the Hall of Fame announcement for this year, or for 2023, so I don't know if you want to touch on that, Kenseth, very quickly or not, but go ahead and tell everybody what your final thoughts are.
I mean, nothing much. I'm just can't wait to see all these throwback schemes on track instead of a render, and yeah, can't wait to see how the racing's like at Darlington.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how the next gen car performs at Darlington, especially with those composite bodies. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot more drivers.
Right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of drivers riding the wall and getting into it, and hopefully not having any trouble. The composite bodies, it should be a little bit easier for them to just hit the wall and keep on going without any tire rubs. I'm not going to say tire issues, because we've had some tire issues with lug nuts and stuff, so hopefully none of that happens. But that's going to finally wrap it up for this video. We hope you all enjoyed it. Let us know some of your favorite Darlington throwback paint schemes in the comments below, along with who you think is going to win this week. But until next time, we will see you guys in our next video.